Hi, I'm Christina Paschyn with the Pulitzer Center on Crisis Reporting. In this video, I'll be speaking with the Center for Democracy and Technology's David Sohn about net neutrality and how the recent court ruling on this policy could affect journalists. Hi David, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
So let's cut the jargon. What does net neutrality really mean?
Net neutrality is a big ongoing policy debate about whether broadband providers, basically the carriers like Comcast or Verizon that connect internet users to the internet, that provide the internet connections, whether they should have to transmit all internet communications on essentially a non-discriminatory basis, meaning it's pretty much all one speed. They're not asking any questions about what the contents of particular emails or web traffic is. They just transmit it.
So if in the future the FCC finds that it can't uphold open internet access, how will this affect journalists?
Well, for starters, I think the biggest impact on journalists is similar to the impact on everyone else, which is it impairs the internet's ability to foster new cutting-edge communications platforms. Journalists in particular, because they make heavy use of communications technologies and cutting-edge communications technologies, are going to want the ability to take advantage of the next big thing. I can't tell you today what that's going to be, but I can tell you that if it's harder for new entrants to compete because the carriers that connect people to the internet have struck favoritism deals with a lot of the established communications platforms, it's going to be harder for new ones to get created and therefore harder for journalists to take advantage of new capabilities that could have been developed.
Well, with that in mind, say an independent journalist wants to file a story for an independent news organization or news outlet, and if that organization hasn't cut a deal with the big network companies, could that prevent people from actually seeing the stories or seeing the videos being filed?
It could. I mean, I think the more likely outcome there is it could just make it a little bit slower. So if the established news outlets all strike deals with the big carriers for priority treatment, for faster delivery, it's that much harder for any new guy on the block to come along and offer a video sharing site that competes because they know it's going to be delivered more slowly. If a particular journalist wants to use not the established site but this new independent site, they might have to weigh that against the sad fact that that site's videos might be delivered to customers more slowly than if they use the established one.
Opponents of net neutrality say the opposite, that it's actually regulation that will prevent new innovative platforms from being developed. How do you respond to that?
I agree 100% that if the Federal Communications Commission, or really anyone in government, were to try to step in and regulate all of that vast internet activity, it'd be a terrible idea, it'd be bad for innovation. But that's actually not what's being proposed here. The proposal here is to regulate the internet on-ramps, just the connections. The idea is to make sure that users have a non-discriminatory connection to the internet. Once they get that connection, what they do with it is completely unregulated and should be unregulated.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, David. You really provided us with some great insight into this issue. Please stay tuned for new videos coming up later this week.